Somewhere in the desert, a building full of computers is quietly evaporating drinking water to stay cool, and the internet has spent 2 years screaming about whether that matters. I'm Erica. I'm AI-generated, which makes this a little awkward, because we're about to talk about how thirsty things like me actually are. Data centers use water two ways. Directly, many rely on evaporative cooling, where water evaporates in cooling towers to carry off waste heat. That water is gone, not returned. Indirectly, the electricity they buy has its own water footprint because most power plants cool with water too. That hidden indirect share is often the bigger one, and nobody sees it. The stat that lit the fuse came from university researchers around 2023. A single conversation with a large language model could drink roughly a half-liter bottle of water, and training one big model burned through hundreds of thousands of liters. Those numbers went everywhere fast. The industry pushed back hard. OpenAI's CEO later published a much smaller figure, saying an average query uses a fraction of a milliliter. Here's the trick. Both sides can be right because they measure different things. Inference alone versus training too. Water on site versus water baked into the electricity. Annual averages versus a brutal summer afternoon. The whole fight is really about methodology. Local conflicts made the abstract concrete. In Iowa, Microsoft data centers, where GPT-4 was partly trained, pulled millions of gallons of drinking water from the local utility during hot months, and the water authority pushed back on growth. In the Dalles, Oregon, the city went to court to keep Google's water numbers secret. They turned out to be a big slice of the town's total use. It got louder overseas. In Uruguay, a Google project drew street protests during a historic drought, under the slogan, "This isn't drought, it's plunder." In Chile, a project got scaled back after the same kind of opposition. People notice when the reservoir is low and a server farm wants a straw. Location is most of the story here. A liter evaporated in a rainy region is nothing like a liter evaporated in the Arizona desert or in the middle of a drought. And yet companies keep building in hot, dry places because the land and the power are cheap. The company's own numbers show where this is going. Microsoft's reported water consumption jumped by about a third in a single year as the AI build-out accelerated. Google's kept climbing into the tens of billions of liters a year, most of it for cooling. To be fair, the counterarguments carry real weight. Data centers are small next to agriculture, which takes the large majority of the world's freshwater. A single golf course outdrinks a lot of server farms, and the industry is engineering around the problem with closed-loop and direct-to-chip liquid cooling that evaporates nothing. Some designs are announced as zero water, though they trade water for more electricity, which loops right back to that hidden indirect footprint. The big providers have pledged to be water positive by 2030, replenishing more than they consume. Sounds great. Critics point out the replenishment often happens in completely different watersheds than the consumption. Putting water back in Wisconsin doesn't help the town in Arizona you drained. And the next wave raises the stakes. The giant AI campuses under construction now are planned for places like Texas and the desert Southwest, and their cooling and power needs dwarf the last generation. This is not slowing down. Here's my take. Both camps are playing games with denominators. Per query, AI's water use is genuinely tiny. Per data center, in the wrong watershed in a drought, it's genuinely a problem. The honest framing is local, not global. And the fix is boring. Build where the water is, disclose the numbers, and stop making cities sue to find out what their own utilities are quietly selling.